Here we are. We've got Isaac and Jenna. Jenna is doing some kid stuff, I imagine, in the background. She's coming on as soon as she
Getting
can.
everything set up and ready to go for us.
I am so stoked to see you guys and to hear about your journey. I was just watching, just so you know, I was just watching the last hot seat call I did with you. It was 9 months ago. And I wanted to watch just a little bit so I could remember your numbers, where you were at in the journey at that time. So I don't know if you remember this, Isaac, but at that time you still owned your first cleaning company, which you started in a different city as kind of a side hustle just to experiment while you were still working full time in your day job.
I call it sandbox. I was sandboxing.
You were sandboxing. You were playing in the sandbox.
Playing around.
And then you were thinking about selling it. So you were right at the beginning of selling it. And you were at revenue-wise, you were at about 11K with your new cleaning company. And Jenna had just come all in to help because Isaac is a numbers guy and Jenna is amazing with people. Not that you're not good with people, Isaac, but you know what I mean.
Right. That's all, everything you're saying is accurate.
And then Jenna came in all in. And then I got a note, or I sent you a note or something, because it's been a while. And I sent you a note saying, how are you guys doing? And you were like, 47K this month. Oh my God, Beck. And I was like, same, we're at 90K. Oh my God. And so this reaction is, we've not prepared this. We haven't had time. We literally haven't talked in 9 months,
right?
Since the last hot seat. So let's dive in. Congrats first.
Thank you.
Massive success.
And I actually will update. It's not 47. It's 63 this month.
Oh my God,
maybe we still got a few days left. So who knows? We're hoping to hit 65.
63 to 65 for August. So, And that's still your first year, isn't it? Maybe a couple months more.
So we were actually looking last night. Last August we did, was it 8,000?
It's somewhere around 8 to 10K. And
it was less than 10. It was close.
When did you say we did our last hot seat?
9 months ago.
And we were
it was November 1st.
So yeah, I would have just come in not too long before that. Yeah. Probably a couple. Yeah, that would make sense. I came in at September.
All you needed was Jenna, Isaac.
Right.
Hey, I don't know about that, but
that has been true for every phase of my life. It's not just the cleaning business. All I need is Jenna.
Spoken like a good husband. And then also Jenna had a baby. So now you've got 3 young kids. How old is the oldest?
8. So 8, 4, and 4 months. So all about 4 years.
Okay. So anybody out there that's like, I don't have time. I'm too busy.
Yeah, I don't know. We start like you said, everybody's watched the first call. Like I started when I was still teaching full time. So literally could feel the phone vibrating in my pocket and not able to answer because I'm up in front of a couple dozen kids, and I'm like, son of
I gotta answer this call. I know that's the edge. All I gotta do is answer the phone and I'll get a booking. Yeah. I spoke with someone the other day. I hope she's watching this. I'll keep her anonymous anyway, but she's going through our course, our program that's here on YouTube. And so she's on like day 1 or 2 where you call your competitors and see how many of them actually answer the phone. And she called 18.
Wow.
And I think something like 2 or 3 answered the phone first up, and then 2 called her back. And she's just like, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Yeah.
I actually answered a call probably maybe a week and a half ago. We were on the playground dropping our oldest son off a little after 8 a.m. And ended up, we actually just did the job. It was a $6,100 job, $6,000 job that we just finished on Tuesday. And I was talking to the guy and I asked him, like, what led you to call us? He goes, well, you're the first person who answered. I'm like, the bar is so low.
$6,000 phone call that will only turn into more because if you're talking to him, I imagine it's a good conversation. He's going to recommend you to his friends or whatever, book again. Even if it's a bad conversation, you now know how to turn that into a good one. So amazing. Congratulations. So tell me, like, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about hurdles. I want to talk about, lessons you've learned, how you got to these numbers. Like, I know what I want to talk about, but what do you guys want to dive into first?
At some point, and I don't know if you want to start with it or not, we do have some questions about like kind of where we are at. And obviously we view you as being kind of like 1 or 2 steps ahead of us.
Yeah, you're going to beat us.
So continuing to learn from you. You've been a big part of this journey all throughout. And so
I'm into it.
I don't know. Do you want to start there? Do you want to start with kind of what we've experienced?
Let's start first with how you got to this magical number. So 63K. I know when we talked 9 months ago, your goal was to reach like 50K within a by April, I think was what you said in the call. I don't know if you quite did that, but certainly you hit the summer intensity. I always talk about that. When you're first starting out, you don't realize it because nobody knows about you yet. But then once people actually know about you, you've done all the right things with SEO, or you've done all the right things with answering the phone, getting your leads. Summer is like peak season, right? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to talk about how you got to this point in this number and what you think you did in order to reach that number that is different than maybe what you thought you would have done.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk about as much or little as you want to. And I think too, like questions that you get from your community, like we're happy to answer those and be as raw with you guys. I mean, we're happy to talk numbers, we're happy hurdles, the real, I would say when 9 months ago, we obviously had told you, like at that point, we were taking anything and everything because we were new, right? So any call, any text, we were trying to be on it like that because there's so much data and like within the first minute of any lead, right? We just alluded to this. It's like, they're most likely going to book with you, right? If not, they're going to call that next person. They're going to text that next person. They're going to forget about that they were wanting a cleaning because all of a sudden, we had somebody the other day that I was in a meeting, so I didn't get back with her within 30 minutes and she started cleaning her own house and then like canceled her book, like didn't need anybody anymore, right? But so us 9 months ago, we were taking anything and everything from residential to one-time cleans to move and move out to commercial to Airbnb to post-construction. And I remember telling you and the people that were on the call, like we wanted to do that because we wanted to experience it all. Because if we didn't, then how would we know, right? And that's an obvious statement, but it's like, okay, how would we know how the clientele was, how our energy output's going to be? Because that's a huge thing, right? Like, let's get higher profit margins with lower energy output. That's the goal. But we didn't know where those clients were. So we went down every road. And as we figured out kind of, okay, Airbnbs take a lot of energy from me, right? A lot of managing for low profit margins. So like, probably not going to really like pursue this relationship or expand it. Residential.
Sorry, can I add on that though too? The high volume offers great learning experiences though too. I don't regret going down the Airbnb route because we learned so much about it with such high volume. We got a lot of practice, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
I'll interject there a little bit too. The other thing there to note for the audience watching this is, Isaac, you're a realtor as well. And so you were leveraging connections you had. You knew the market was there. You knew people needed cleaners for Airbnb. So it was kind of a low-hanging fruit for you. And that's important when you're first starting out, right? So you learned a ton. Amazing.
Yep. And then, I mean, you think about like connections that you don't even remember you have, like one of my best friends, she's a director of operations for a huge apartment complex community here. And you don't really know what your friends, like you do know what your friends do, but you don't know what your friends do. And so she connected us with, after like a playground conversation, she connected us with one of her site like managers for one of their properties. And that has opened, and we can talk about that, but that has opened so many doors. They have 6 apartment complexes, communities here in Central Ohio alone. And we've been able to then, and we talk about this often, but go deep with those clients. So now all of a sudden, that one client, we're serving multiple locations. We're doing not only their common area cleanings in their clubhouses, but their pool bathrooms and their turn cleans and some of their residential client or what some of their residents are hiring us. And huge. So again, like I could go down in like that checklist, but through all these experiences of taking everything, right? Like some doors have opened. We've felt alignment with certain things. We've figured out, okay, this makes sense from the profit to margin to the energy thing. And the real big difference of where we were and where we are now is now we're at a point that we wanted to be at where we can turn away people that aren't aligned for us. And I think that's the ultimate goal, right? You want to get to a point that you're saying like, no, that's not a good match for our company or our cleaners. And we're able to provide opportunities that are good for our cleaners. And that's like the biggest difference now from where we were to where we are now. And you can prompt questions and we can tell you kind of how we did that. But biggest thing I would say is just like it was a blessing for us to take everything and try to trial error of what was most aligned for us.
I think that's wonderful. And honestly, it is what we tell everybody to do. Like, you have to test your own market. You have to test your own skills. We can tell you what we've done. And it's probably going to be the same in your city, but you never know. There might be something that you're like, hey, I found this one niche. Like, there's a woman in our community. I haven't heard from her in a long time, actually. So I hope she's still out there and active, but she answered a phone call about a stadium cleaning. And she had taken some, courses or training with Rohan and Kevin, who taught us. And they said, answer every call and just say yes. And so they were like, can you clean a stadium? She's like, yeah, totally. I'm like, really? And she's like, got it. Yep, no problem. When do you need it? And then she turns around, asks the community,
what now?
I got the stadium. And, that's all she does now is stadium cleaning, because it's a highly specialized, very specific thing. It's a massive gig. Like, I can't remember what her numbers were, but I know it was in the hundreds of thousands just for stadium cleaning. So, she wouldn't have known that had she not said yes. Right. Yeah. And so in the beginning, you got to say yes.
Yeah. And I think that. What I remember from you too, and I like when Isaac had a call with you and I hopped on a few of those ones towards the end, I remember asking you, breaking down your business, residential to commercial. And it correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe it's different now, but you're high on the residential side. Like, you love recurring residential. That's like the bulk of your business. And I was like, interesting, because honestly, for us right now, like we love the commercial, the big commercial, as I said, the apartment complexes, because the depth that we can go. We love the post-construction cleans that we just did at the surgery center, where we're paying our cleaners, good money. They made $250 each cleaner for 5 or 6 hours of work. Plus I gave them $100 bonus, and we're profiting over $4,000. Like, so that like, we love the apartment complex debt, and that's like a lot of money, but you have to be able to front, and we can talk about that at a different time. Like, you have to be able to front that money. So there's that beast there. And we love the one-time big post-construction cleans, because we have the team to do it. Isaac goes in the morning. I'm there overseeing our team during the day. They're cleaning. I'm fine-tuning. I'm the relational person. Those clients feel like they get like the best service because they see both of us. We're there. And those have been really like fruitful for our company. Residential, as you said, has come organically. Jenna couldn't push it. I couldn't go out there, and people are finding through Google and word of mouth, and it's going. But that's not like when I say like, oh, this is like our bread and butter. That's not really how ours is. And so to the stadium cleaning, it's kind of like, one thing might work for your mentor or somebody else, but until you try it all, you don't know in your like specialty or like for your business, what's like your gold.
So I'm curious, and Isaac, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this off the top of your head, but maybe you will, because you know me enough that I always ask this. What is your percentage recurring, and what's your percentage one-time cleans?
So I'll be honest, this is a number that I've got a pretty detailed spreadsheet that I basically take my bank statement and I copy and paste it in, and 90% of it, probably more, automatically populates. So it just can automatically classify it as an expense or income. It'll categorize it for my 1099s and like it'll do all that stuff for me. I have not found a great system for categorizing or automatically calculating my recurring versus my one time. Off the top of my head, I would estimate 60 to 70% of our residential is one time.
You think? I would have gone lower.
Okay.
I would have said before it would have been that, like, I mean, for sure 6 months ago, for sure 9 months ago. But that's an interesting thing. Like, I couldn't even give you an accurate percentage. I would say now reoccurring like monthly, biweekly, weekly.
Yeah.
I would say probably is around 40, 50.
Okay.
I think, but there are, like, when he says one-time cleaners, there are a lot of people that come back to us. Like, we have people that have multiple rentals. So like they hire us probably once a month, but they have different properties, or they get a deep clean every couple months and then get cleanings when their family comes in town. So in our system, they're not set up for reoccurring cleanings, but they're reoccurring clients.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So for me, the way I define it is, can I rely on this money? Is it, a sure thing every month we're going to have this amount of money? So it's more of a mental, and so I don't put my repeat clients in there. I still call them one-time clients. And Isaac, for your spreadsheet, a little tip is to find a way that you can add R to biweekly, weekly, monthly, or dailies if you have dailies, and then a O or a 0 or a 1 or whatever for one times. And then you can just it's super easy to do. You just order them A to Z and you've got all your R's here. You count them. It's old school, but you're able to count like, okay, I have this number of recurring and this number of one times. This is the revenue. That's how we do it. Convert Labs, which is, and I'll put up the little banner for that, which is the system we use that these guys use as well. And if you want to support this channel, that's what you should be using. But also it is just the best system. That's our website, our booking software. It's our community. It's everything. Anyways, Convert Labs kind of has a way to do it, but it's not perfect. So we all just have spreadsheets for our accountants. It's just easier. Anyway, so that's how I would do it. But it's interesting because I think, one of the things that we always say, Jen and I anyways, is the focus on recurring for residential, to dive into that with you, Jenna, is that $200 every 2 weeks adds up and with no effort. Right. The only effort is the first phone call, getting the cleaner out. Once the cleaner knows that client, they will stay with them for years as long as both are happy. That's like our low maintenance cleaning company world, which we love. And so that $200 every 2 weeks is worth more than one deep clean that's really hard, that takes a lot of energy and resources on both your team and on you. It's just a lot more effort. So that's why we're always like, hey, if you can get to 80% recurring, 20% one times, that's really the sweet spot in terms of work-life balance. And when I say that, I mean minimal work, maximum life. Okay. And that's where we're at. It's where we've always wanted to be at. But we do multiple other things, right? We own multiple companies. Jen writes full time. Like, we have other things going on. I think if I was all in again, and certainly our first year, we were more like you guys. I went to the job sites. I checked on the cleaners. I was much more involved. Whereas now I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and we feel like we're very much in like kind of a growth phase as opposed to, and it's a little bit different than, when we talked to you last, we're like, yeah, we're going to get to 50 or 60. And then we're really going to take our foot off the gas and we're going to, try to coast a little bit. And
now you're like, foot on the gas, let's go.
Our mentality has just changed so much. I think, and Jen and I think kind of coincidentally had this realization at the same time. Like, if we took our foot off the gas, it almost would be a selfish thing for us to do, because of how much we're serving our customers, are serving our community, the amount that we can give back. If we took our foot off the gas, we don't have, the amount that we're serving stops. And we just feel like we're in a position, and God's been gracious to us, put us in a position to be able to serve greater than what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at. It's not necessarily a keep your foot on the gas to make more money. It's a foot on the gas to serve more and bigger and better. And that's kind of where we're at.
This is kind of down a rabbit hole, so I'll try to keep it brief, but I did a thing years ago called Lifebook, and you go for 3 days and you write this book. I have it on my shelf over here, of your life. And there's 12 chapters. I know, Jenna, you'd be all over this because you're big on masterminds and coaching. And so it's 3 days to take a really deep dive into what you value and what you care about. And, in terms of health, finances, relationships, like deep. And one of the things that I still remember, and this was years ago, I did this in Chicago. One of the things that I took away from it was the impact you have is actually way more important than anything else. And what you just said, Isaac, is what people who are extremely wealthy talk about. And it's like this, it's kind of Think and Grow Rich kind of thinking. But it's like changing your mindset so that it's about your impact. It's how many people, what are you doing that's good in the world? And what I think, we would agree on is win, 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 right? Like that's what I love about this business. I had no idea starting a cleaning company just so I didn't have to have a day job and so I could pay my bills would lead to this totally different way of seeing the world, which is, how does this support my clients? How does this support my cleaners? How does this support me? And how does this support our community? Right? So it's win, 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 win. And there's no losers when you run a business like this. And that's part of the reason, if not the reason, financially you're doing so well.
Yeah, your clients feel it, and your partners feel it, and
everybody,
your cleaners feel it. We wouldn't do it any other way.
So, oh my gosh. I was just thinking as you were talking, I don't know if before I like popped in here, we talked a little bit about our background, but I used to be an orthopedic PA. So I did hip and knee replacements, was in the medical field for 10 plus years, and then had a coaching and consulting business. I still have it, but kind of stepped back from that as this cleaning company grew. And now I'm the CEO of this. And this is like my full, besides being a mama, like this is my full go. And trust me, right now it's taking all of that time because we're ready to hire somebody too. And that's where we're at, is really bringing somebody on. But
as like a manager, is that what we're talking about, or another cleaner?
An operations
person
nice.
To go into like a true COO.
Nice.
So a high level person, and we could talk about that too, if that's of interest to anybody, but what you were talking, Vic, and that's something I was thinking about, and I say it often, is how many boxes the cleaning company checked of what we were looking for in life and our impact and our purpose and all those things that we could not even have dreamt of, right? Like when God opened this door of owning a cleaning company to us, it was like comical, right? Like
via Twitter,
a former PA, a former teacher, 2 coaches, very traditional, going and like putting all this in on this cleaning company. But what it did was we always wanted to be part of something bigger than us. We wanted to create a team around us so that we could treat people well, value them, compensate them well, have them wake up in the morning and not dread doing whatever they're doing, right? See them, like humanize them, have the opportunity then to have enough money to then give back in whatever ways we see that, right? Giving our cleaners bonus, giving more money to our community, foundations, like you can name it however you want to, hiring people that might not be given that opportunity otherwise, but they're really freaking good cleaners. So all of these things, and that's what this cleaning company is, and it's become to us. And every time I get on a phone call to potentially bring a cleaner onto our team, I'm like, this isn't a cleaning service to us. Like that's just like the avenue that we're able to be part of something that's greater. And that's like the truth. Like we are so passionate about this, not from a cleaning standpoint, but because of all the boxes it checks and then the opportunities it continues to bring to not only us and our family, but so many people's lives that we're able to give opportunities to and serve.
Yeah, that's it. Period.
Yeah.
As the young would say. What mistakes did you make in the last year that you were like, I wish I'd known, like, could I pass this on to someone else? Don't do X.
You want to go first? You want me to?
Honestly, so there's some things that I don't know. I view them as we learned a lot from them. So I wouldn't take them away. I wouldn't discourage people from pursuing them, but we certainly have gotten into some relationships that they were fine at the time, but they weren't necessarily serving us that well. And rather than sometimes just ripping off the Band-Aid and saying, look, we got to go elsewhere, we kind of let it fizzled. We were fortunate enough that none of them have ended in terrible bad blood between two parties, but it may have been easier if we would have just ripped it off as soon as we started to recognize that.
Yeah. I mean, that was my biggest one, is like not having the scarcity mindset that you do when you start something, where it goes back to, and we do view it as a positive, as we said before, like we did say yes to everything at the beginning, because again, you don't know what you don't know, and you got to figure it out. And at that point, obviously you're trying to build your clientele, you're trying to make money however you can, but trust when it doesn't feel right, to be able to say no, because saying no is saying yes to something else, as we all know. But like not being in that scarcity mindset, but like if I say no, then I lost that $50. It's like, it was $50. Now we're talking about we just profited $4,000 off of one job. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like not getting in your own way of like, there's all these cleaning companies out there. There's limited opportunities, because the reality is there aren't enough cleaners or cleaning companies to serve the needs of cleaning services, and quality cleaners are hard to come by. So that's, to me, the biggest mistake is just thinking that we needed people more than they needed us. And that's just not true, because if we stay true to who we are, how we operate, then like the right doors will open, and trusting that and being willing to really like shut the doors that, like Isaac's saying, that fell off sooner. Because if you're still holding on to that, for instance, I go back to Airbnbs. We got in with this one property management company, and a lot of my energy was going there. Well, what did that mean? I didn't have that energy to go pour into other people. And I was getting pennies over here and being scrutinized because Airbnbs, they do the finger test and everything has to be staged perfectly. And it was like that. I knew that didn't seem like that's how I wanted to do business, but it looked flashy. It looked sexy because we were partners with this property group, and we did all these Airbnbs around Columbus. And it was like, but I'm not trying to look sexy. I mean, I'm in an Adidas sweatshirt and I run a cleaning company, like I'm not trying to be in stilettos in a Ferrari.
It's amazing how, I keep hearing on different podcasts, like unsexy businesses are where the money's at.
100%. I mean, 100%, Vic, I mean, in 2023, I was in a sexy business. I mean, I was traveling and I was looking good on stages and speaking to rooms full of hundreds to up to 800 women. Like, I looked sexy and I looked good, but I was tired and I wasn't making as much money. And I wasn't spending as much time with my family. So, yeah.
Oh, that's such gold. I want to put that on a t-shirt somehow.
I will add one more thing to that too. And I think kind of summing up what Jenna says, like trusting your gut. And I will say, for one thing, if I can give one piece of advice of something not to do, we've never had a successful relationship where we've been contracted out, where another cleaning company has tried to hire us. We've tried it a few different times and in a few different situations, and it has never worked out. It doesn't matter.
I'm so glad you brought
that up. One
of
them even was willing to pass on their entire revenue. Like they were making $0. Even for that amount of money, it did not make sense for us. So I have not been able to figure out a way that makes any sense. So in my mind, we say no to that every time.
I love that. And that's something that for some reason, when people start these cleaning companies, they think, oh, I'll just outsource it to other cleaning companies. So there must be some coaches out there that's what they're coaching. And they also think this is easy. So you can just start a cleaning company and just outsource to other cleaner and that's it. Right. And I mean, they're right in that, sure, that is the model, but that's not really the model. It's outsourcing to cleaners that work with you and with their own clients. So they're good cleaners that are independent. That's why we call them independent contractors, not subcontractors. And so the subcontractor route, which is what you're talking about, where they're, they get the gig because they're good at sales or leads, or they pay for leads or whatever. And then they're not good at hiring. They're not good at working with cleaners. And so they think, oh, well, we'll just get them to do it. And I completely agree. We did the exact same thing. And then somebody in our community, Lola, just the other day asked about this because she had a cleaning company reach out in Vancouver and say, hey, can I give you, work for your cleaners? She gave him the quote and he's like, oh, I pay 35. And she's like, well, it's 60, or 75 or whatever it was.
Do not back down at all.
Do not back down.
Pricing was another one that I would say, don't be afraid to raise your prices. Don't be afraid to stick to your prices because they can say no and they can move on, right? But that's setting the standard to the quality that you provide and the service that you provide. And we always say that, we don't provide an average or below average. So we're not going to take that price. Yeah. And that is huge. That I would say was a mistake from us to be a little bit wishy-washy on that and dilute what we were giving. And it's no, our prices are our prices and don't be afraid to raise them. Focus on profit over revenue. That's another thing. Talk about the sexy and the flashy thing, especially on social media or sitting at the bro table where everybody wants to pump their chest. Like, I did 1.2 mil in revenue. It's like, yeah, cool. What were your expenses? What was your profit?
You took home 60K, man.
Well, my profit was 100K. It's like, yeah, okay, that's the number that matters, right? So look at your profit number more. And then what I will say that I've gotten much better at, and it's made a big difference, is don't be afraid to ask for reviews. Reviews are huge. People look at them, and that's, I mean, once we got our reviews up, people are like, I mean, your reviews are amazing. And at first I was like, ooh, I kind of sound weird. It's like, no, we provided you a great service. Can you please do us a solid? And we have a message that would just copy and paste every time. You know, I check after every day.
Yeah.
Clients, how was your service today? If they're like, it was great, right then I'm like, you mind doing this right now? Like,
so you don't have Nice Job installed?
Correct.
Wow.
So we do have the Convert Labs automatically sends that review also, where it, you know, rates the stars. If they give a 5-star or 4-star on our internal system, we don't even ask. They're not asking you for.
Well, I do follow up.
Jenna follows up and says, "What could we have done better?"
Hey, Beck, I saw you gave a 4-star review today. Like, just curious. We always want to be providing 5-star. Like, is there anything that we can do? And I offer to come back, make things right. You know, always want to send somebody back. Not going to give them a price off. I can't quantify that they didn't dust your light. But yeah, no, it's all manual from me at night when I do payouts, when I send the text messages to the client.
That's great. I mean, listen, Cecilia and Blake do that. And they have, I think, like 300 or something reviews. It's more work now. It does pay off long term. We use Nice Job. I'm lazy, you guys. I'm not lazy. I'm doing a million other things is what I am. I
start automating some things, and that makes a ton of sense.
Oh my God. Although I will say, if I was doing it the way you're doing it, we would have even more. Mm-hmm. But I would also here's what happens with me. And tell me if this happens to you guys. I just care so much. And so I almost need that, like, don't care button, you know, to like dial back how much I care about every client, every cleaner, and every clean. Because I almost don't want feedback every single time, because sometimes it's just okay. But it's okay for us. Like, our numbers are good. You know, we're fine. It doesn't need to be a great cleaning company. It is. But I also know, I think it's like my sister has the same thing. Like, our bar is so high. Mm-hmm. You know, and so with this cleaning company, it's like, you don't have to get 5 stars every time. 4 stars is great. It's still better than 99% that's out there.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's that pressure.
Yeah. To that point, I will say, like, I do my children probably too much. That's why I have Isaac. I coddle them a little too much. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to, it probably is a mistake. Now, I mask it as I really care about them, and I do really care about them. And that's not a bad thing. I wouldn't change that they know how much I appreciate and care about them. But they're adults too. Like, I probably enable them and coddle them too much. They're too reliant on me, which is why, to your point, I'm looking forward to bringing on an operations person, so I don't feel that burden throughout the day that, like, I have to make sure everything's going fine for every client and every cleaner. I can kind of remove myself from that, but not remove myself from the care, but only have my touch points with them instead of all day being accessible, because I'm helping them get into a room. I'm helping them communicate. I'm helping them.
Plus, you're a coach and Isaac's a teacher. Like, I think this is just in us. Like, we can't help but be like, I want you to succeed. And, you know, sometimes I'm sure you have the same thing. Like, there are cleaners where they don't necessarily care that much, and that's okay. Right? Like, they just want to do their job and go home and not worry about it. Maybe they've had a previous career that was really stressful. And so this one is just there, like, you know, and I don't need to coach them and improve them and get them, you know, to be an A+ student. They just need to clean.
And you give them the jobs that suit that. They're well suited for them, right?
Exactly.
They're jobs, and you get to know that. You get to know your cleaners, you get to know your clients, and you give them jobs that they can be successful in.
Which, talking about mistakes, don't force your cleaner into a job that they don't want to do.
Oh,
it's not going to end up well. So figure out the type that, like, the good match system. Like, some people like commercial, some people like reoccurring clients, some people like one time. Like, try to pair your cleaners with the cleans that they like. Everybody's happier that way.
I'm dealing with that right now with one of my cleaners. She says she wants recurring, but then she's like bugging me to do all these post-con jobs. And I'm like, okay, you've said one thing, but you're showing me another. And I either change our model, which we've done a number of times for her, or I just don't, so it's this like, don't change your model for one person, is one thing we say all the time, whether it's a client or a cleaner. And this one cleaner, man, I really like her though. I've done a lot to try to like make her happy, and sometimes you just got to go, okay.
We have one of those that Isaac's not allowed to communicate with, only me.
Really?
Just because it like grinds his gears. She's very particular. I go above and beyond to cater to her because she's reliable. She does good work. She shows up, but she also thinks she's the boss. And I don't mean to sound on a hierarchy because I'm not, but it is our company at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like you gotta respect that at some point.
And you're probably really good at like navigating those waters, whereas Isaac would be like, okay, yeah, back off. And Jen and I are exactly the same. Like if I talk to Jen about this cleaner, she's like, I don't know why we're still talking about it.
That's him. That's him.
You're right. I know. But, back to Isaac's point about, at some point letting relationships go maybe sooner rather than later. But like you, Jenna, this is a very good, reliable cleaner. Like when she thrives, she really thrives.
Yeah.
And so anyway, these are the challenges. Like for anybody just starting out, you don't know this right now. But this is the real life stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
And you don't have the convenience of being able to assign correct cleaners to the correct jobs. Like we were looking back through last July, I think we had like, I forget what it was, 20 bookings. They were all the exact same cleaner.
I remember that. Yeah. I was like, you need to hire. So on that note, how many cleaners do you have now?
We have 10 that work pretty much like exclusively with us. Yeah. And we have another handful that have their own jobs and do some with us. And then we have access to another whole cleaning company. It's the owner is actually who cleaned our house prior to owning a cleaning company. So if we get in a pinch, which is very rarely, I'm talking like in the last 6 months, maybe twice, we know she does great work. So we just have her assign one of her teams.
Amazing. Sorry, I'm just checking something. We've got a comment, and for whatever reason, it's not showing up on our thing. So I'm just making sure that I've got our comments turned on. I apologize to anybody who's writing comments. For whatever reason, they're not showing up. And that did not fix it. So apologies. Okay. So Jenna, can you say that again? I was distracted.
Yeah. So we have like 10 cleaners that work exclusively with us now. We never like put that pressure on them. That's just something that's happened because the schedule that's built out for them, how they've been treated and compensated. We have another handful that have their own jobs, but do a decent amount with us. And then we have access to a whole other cleaning company because our contact is the woman who owns it, who used to clean our home prior to us owning a cleaning company.
Oh, amazing.
We don't reach out to her. Like I said, maybe in the last 6 months, twice.
Okay.
Because we have all of our teams are booked and somebody wants something last minute. And we're actually trying to take care of a reoccurring client that wants a one-off.
Right. We do the exact same thing with a member of our community that we coached on how to start her cleaning company here in our city. And so we've probably done 2 or 3 jobs exactly like that, where I call her and I say, hey, we're in a jam. I'm either going to turn this client away, or can I send one of your cleaners? And she'll take it. She doesn't like doing it because her profit margins, she still wants to pay her cleaners the same. And I'm like, yeah, but it's basically a free gig where your cleaner's either out or they're not. Like if you didn't have work, it makes sense. If you had work, you're turning away your own work, then you don't do it, right? Like we don't do it anymore for other companies, but also they don't treat our cleaners as well as we do. So we're protective of our people.
Yep.
Right. So I want to go back to, and by the way, Jenna, we have around the same number of cleaners. So technically we have 18 on our team.
Okay.
But about 10 of them are, I would say like 80% of their schedule is filled by us, maybe 20% by their own clients. And it's funny because of those 10, like sometimes half of them are not at like full time, like they don't want to be. And that's another thing, to realize that sometimes people only want to work 1 clean a day.
Yeah. And we asked that, I mean, like day 1 and then throughout, like, how many hours are you looking for? Okay, how many jobs are you looking for? Because they're very different.
And how much money you want to make.
And how much money are you looking for? Right? Because then that tells you. And then I check in with them, I mean, at least once a month. okay, these were your numbers. This is like how are you feeling with the number of jobs that you're getting? This is your pay. And sometimes they're like, I mean, wow. Like, because we're exceeding all of the ideal income for all of our cleaners. We're exceeding them.
Amazing. And see, again, back to that win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
Like we coach so much on this channel about how pay your cleaners more than they're used to getting, which
100%.
means you charge more because you're using Convert Labs, you're sending out reminders, you're having automated payments, you're dealing with schedules that actually work. So you're not having cleaners not show up, right? Like, have you guys ever had that problem? Other people complain about that all the time. Like, cleaners just don't show up.
No, we haven't had that in a long time.
Right?
No, because again, it's like when you have people that actually like care too, like here, like they're going to tell us before they just don't show up for a job. Like they're not just going to not show up, our cleaners that we have. Now, they might be sick in the morning. Well, I can find coverage and I can communicate with the client before that. But it's not like, oh my gosh, hours have gone by. The cleaner didn't show up. The client doesn't know why. We don't know why. That's just the type of people that are on our team.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we just got, one of the questions just came through. So how are Isaac and Jenna earning $47K a month? I don't know if you want to break that down. We kind of already covered it in terms of they're really focused more on, and it's actually funny. You say commercial, but I would still argue you're doing residential because you're not doing like grocery stores, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I'll give you a breakdown kind of our clientele. So I told you we're in with a big apartment complex community here. We serve 2 of their locations out of their 6. In those locations, Isaac can tell you the numbers. How much do we bring in from them a month? I mean, it's between those 2 locations, we do their clubhouses. One of the locations, we do an entire building that's 9 floors. In there 5 days a week. We do all of their turn cleans. And that's a significant amount of money without one relationship.
Probably 10
and
to 12,000 with
you
those
mentioned,
buildings.
Sorry, go ahead, Isaac.
Probably 10 to 12,000 with those 2 buildings in revenue.
Yeah. Okay. And of that, you were having to do invoicing. Am I right?
Correct. And that was something that somebody asked on the last call we were at. Like, they were very uncomfortable. Like, how are you managing to float that money? I guess one thing is we're not afraid of debt. Like, we're not afraid to put stuff on credit cards and bet on the future.
We weren't. Now we're in a position that we're not anymore. But in the beginning, we did.
Yeah, like when we were on your last call, like we were putting a lot on credit cards and we were carrying some balances. We were betting on this was going to turn out and it's going to be better in the long run than it is now. I don't have like a great answer for how you manage that. You just got to bet on yourself, I guess, and know you're going to figure it out.
Yeah. And I know that sounds cliche, but like, honestly, I was talking about this with my girlfriend the other day, walking home from school. If you're not going to get to where you want to get as an entrepreneur, like the numbers that we're at, like 63 or 67K, and you're like at 95K, you don't just get there without like taking risk and being uncomfortable and carrying some of that debt on yourself. Like, it just doesn't happen unless you're a trust fund baby. Like, it really doesn't. I'm not even joking, but like, people don't talk about it. And I talked about that on stages when I used to speak. It's like, I took on a lot of debt. I pulled money when I left my job as a PA from 401k. Like, that's just the real and the raw. But then you believe in it and it comes full swing. And now we make more money in our cleaning company than we made at our jobs combined.
Isn't that amazing?
So that's that one client. We have like a few, what would you call like Mobile Air and American Metal Supply?
Small office. Like
office cleanings that we do weekly, apartment, like temporary leasing offices that we do weekly or bi-weekly. And then we do like to at least get one big post-construction a month, because again, you're talking like our goal is to have 2 of what we just had, because that's profit 8 to 10 grand a month on those.
I love doing large post cons like that, and I wish we could get more of those. The problem with us is it's not really a problem, but in our first year, we reached out to every single real estate agent in our city, and that gave us a lot of move in, move out cleans and prepare for listing cleans, which everyone else would call a deep clean. And that was great. It also gave us a lot of these small post cons, not huge, We just did one, and I'll talk a little bit about this one. I have to be careful because I signed an NDA, but we just did one for a bajillionaire, and I'll just say that. And it was a post-con. It was a nightmare because the bajillionaires are arriving in town. It's a new build. It's like 12,000 square feet, indoor pool. Like, it's gorgeous, oceanfront, like absolutely amazing home. But the construction crew is still working every single day. And we have to go in and clean every single day while they're still working, which is normally a hard no for us.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're willing to pay. They understand, you know, and we understand this is, I don't even know what the amount was, probably about 12K. And then after, once the bajillionaires moved in, we are now cleaning it 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. Like, they have a full-time bartender. Like, they don't even drink. They just have it in case their guests want drinks by the pool, right? Like, this is next level life. And it's so good for us to be around it. It's so positive for our cleaners to be around it. But, you know, in normal world, I would have said, do not do that. That is a nightmare.
Unless it has future potential, we stay away from residential post-con.
Okay, great. So you're not doing residential post-con. Great. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, you're never going to make them happy. And I rarely say never or always, but like, the truth is, and I'm even picky about my home. People are picky about their home, and you just can't clean a post-con residential space because of subcontractors being in there, because of punch outs, and because of dust settling, items moving to the standard that homeowner is going to want in their new home. They don't get it. So we don't do post-construction residential anymore unless it's like with a big established company with like a contractor that does bigger projects that we're just doing it as a favor for them.
To build a relationship.
That's good to know. So your big, like, $6,000 jobs are, like you said, the hospital or something. So it is
like a surgery center or a retail space, like, you know, a Carhartt space, or like a hockey like store space, like these big open. And to be honest with you, like, we bought a big industrial air scrubber. We put it in there. Isaac like sets it the night before. And part of it's work, part of it's for show, and the people like it. Right. And yeah, so we go for like a couple of those a month because they're big profit. And then the rest ideally will be reoccurring residential. And we're going to like stop doing Airbnb. We have stopped doing Airbnb. For all of our move in, move outs, we've gotten way more picky. I require them to send me photos. I require them to answer specific questions because we've been burned. So, is water and electricity on? Are there any dead or alive bugs in the house?
Love it.
So, like, is there any trash remaining? Send me photos, feces. Like, I get
ask.
Some people, they're like, what are you talking about? And some people are like, oh shoot, yeah. No, we don't do that.
Well, no, and the quintessential
I had to ask before, but so for every move in, move out, I don't care where the house is. I'm not the one to like judge, but I'm going to ask these questions because I'm not clean. I'm going to turn them away if they're not a fit.
Yeah, they'll always say it's not that bad. That's that's the red flag.
It is that bad. It's worse than that bad.
Because nobody good ever says it's not that bad. Like, so the worst, always use those words. It's not that bad. Now you'll remember, channel. Don't forget, you hear that and go, okay, are we talking feces? Are we talking blood? Yeah, and those are hard no's. Okay, so Colette asks, I'd love to hear what your hiring process is like. How do you approach finding those solid, reliable cleaners? I find the biggest block right now is hiring. I will add, just before these guys answer it, that is normal. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's something that actually in our channel, somebody, Eric from Bellevue Clean, just posted that he just reached 37K a month within a year. And he's so ecstatic because he got to quit his day job, or he got, I don't know the situation there, he might have gotten laid off, but regardless, he was able to leave his full-time job and is now full in on his cleaning company. And he says in it, listen to Victoria, thank you, but always be hiring, because he could have been at 47K. So having that struggle is actually a good thing. I know it's a struggle, so it sucks, but it means you're on the right path. Because you want to reach the point where you have to say no to jobs because you don't have enough cleaners. So how did you guys crack that code?
I'll let Jenna answer kind of how we do it now, but I will say there's phases of this. And when you first start out, you have to be actively out there finding people. We used your strategy on Indeed, and we used your literally copied and pasted your posting and kind of strategy on Indeed. That's how you have to start. You have to be actively looking for cleaners, and then
looking where they're looking.
Yes. And sometimes it's even in Facebook groups. It's in, I look for those small time cleaners who are looking for more jobs. That's exactly who you want. And so I think at the beginning, you have to be looking for those people. But then somewhere, and I don't know what exactly the revenue level is, but it switches and people start actually looking for you. And so we actually, we turn people away. We're not.
But we keep a running spreadsheet with everybody's information. So that when we do have that next wave, like I just had it, I'm reaching out to these people via text, like, hey, Vic, I see, like, thank you so much for filling out your internal application back in April. Are you still interested in working with us? I'd love to have a 15-minute phone call with you. That way it's like, and to, I forget who you said the gentleman's name, but to his point, always be hiring. Absolutely. And so we bring people on to join our team. We never say like we hire them, like they join our team. And we give them opportunity. And we say, this is going to be a trickle stair step, right? Like you might get one job a week. And if you do a great job and you like how we treat you, we like how we pay you, maybe next week you get 3 jobs. And then we kind of feel it out. And doing that, so then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now this person has a 6-day, 5-day week schedule, but you've tested them beforehand to see what their capacity is and their quality of work and whatever, because you're not waiting to the last second of, oh my gosh, I need this other team. And now I want this new hire to do, 40 hours a week. It's like, no. So that, but I will say, as far as to Isaac's point, like that kind of pendulum switch of like, go on Indeed. That's how we found our first ones. But now, a lot of it now is cold calling us. And then I'll just tell you through the interview process, no matter what the avenue is. So they fill out our internal application.
Sorry, kind of real quick. The internal application, I just created a Google form.
Great.
And so we send that link, and then those responses go automatically into a spreadsheet. And that's what Jen is saying. We keep track of that spreadsheet, and they just kind of sit there. And sometimes if we're actively hiring, we're looking at it, but sometimes they fill out the application, and that's what she's saying. She'll go back to somebody who's filled it out a couple of weeks ago when we're actually ready to start hiring.
And you can have a section on your website that links to that as well. So, it's fairly easy to have a page on the Convert Labs website saying, we're hiring, and then have them fill out a simple Google form.
And in that, so like our internal application is very simple. It's like name, phone number, email, how many years experience do they have, what type of experience, a residential, commercial, Airbnb, whatever they put there, references is in there. Yep. We ask them like a couple cleaning questions, because the reality is if they tell me that oven cleaner, that stuff doesn't stay in a cabinet, or it makes it
the same form as us. You're using the exact same form.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, I think it was something from you, but like, we're like, ooh.
Which I stole from Rohan, which is in the community. So if anybody's looking, it's just under resources in the community. So there's a Google form, copy, paste, repeat. Don't bother reinventing the wheel, folks. Just it works. And yeah, you're right. There's an oven cleaner question. What impact does oven cleaner have on a marble countertop?
Yeah. And if they say this is the shine, they're automatically out. Like, you're done. Nope, sorry.
And the funniest is when you can tell when they've used ChatGPT. You can tell when they've just copied and pasted from the description. Now with Google AI writing the description, it's just so obvious when it's not their voice.
If somebody was doing that, at least I give them kudos for the effort. Like, at least they can use technology. they tried. If they just select enhances the shine, I'm like, all right, done.
Yeah, which we laugh about, because one of the struggles with dealing with cleaners is at least they can use technology. Like, how many times have you had to deal with them not being able to log in, not being able to see their job, and you're like, man, Convert Labs has made it so stupidly easy, because everybody in the community has told them we need this to be stupidly easy. Because their skills with tech are very different than yours or mine often.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions that I ask them when I do the phone interview is communication is super important. Like, we can't have somebody on our team that doesn't know how to like text or bring up our system or yada, yada, yada. So after the internal application, I'll reach out via text. If they respond back to my text, I'll ask them a few questions via text. Right. And then I set up a 15-minute phone call with them where I get to know them. It's very informal, but like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about your professional cleaning experience. I share about our Columbus cleaning service, who we are, our company, how we work. We decide if it's going to be a fit. If on the phone I get a vibe that it is going to potentially be a good fit, right after I get off the phone with them, they get an email from Checker for an updated background check if they don't have it.
Perfect.
We give them references for insurance. If they don't have their liability insurance, we send them the references for that. And just like a welcome, or not welcome email yet, but something like just information about us. And then if they show me like, hey, they were on that, like they've started their insurance process, they've done their background check, they've responded, then I'm like, okay, I can count on them to be reliable enough at that stage. Then I give them a first job and see how it goes from a client and their perspective. And then
that's your testing, is a first job with a client. Do you tell that client this is or you don't tell them?
We used to do test cleans.
Okay.
We now don't. So we used to do test clean where it'd be like that person would go to one of our known clients and just clean for an hour, clean for an hour, get as much done. We talk to our client about like, this is a potential new hire.
Or even a friend or neighbor. Like,
yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
And we pay them like whatever, $20. They do it. Now we don't. We actually pair them with a lead clean that we like know, and they do a clean with an established either team or cleaner on our team that we trust. So we give them the opportunity. Also, we say, ask them how it is working with us.
Exactly. So you're following my model to a T, which I love, because that's the exact same thing. Like in the beginning, we had to use friends, and then it's, hey, you're going to lean on those cleaners because it makes them feel so good, right? Like a good cleaner getting to give feedback on another cleaner. It's two things. It's making that cleaner feel good, and it's making that cleaner better because now they're looking for problems, right? So they're always like, oh, they were great at this, but I noticed that they didn't really look at the client. They didn't really give them eye contact or say hello. And they'll notice like the, very particular details that they know gives them 5-star feedback.
Right.
Right. So it's such a win, again, win, 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 win. Like,
I think makes your cleaners feel more connected. I think that's something that we are currently experiencing right now is really trying to make it feel more like a cohesive team as opposed to a collection of individual teams. That
is such a game changer. And it's how and we didn't I don't do team meetings. I don't do parties with the cleaners. I always talk about, if you want your team to feel good, give them more money, give them bonuses. Every time they get a 5-star review, give them another bonus. But that cohesion, one of the things that I didn't know when I was first starting out, I was nervous about pairing cleaners together that didn't know each other, because what if one of them is complaining or tries to steal that client or that client? Like, what if it's just this negative spiral? And that was just like a programmed in my brain to think negatively. And then instead go, oh, wait, what if this just makes it better? And so now, I rely so much on them to communicate together, to communicate with me. And we have such a positive vibe simply because they have that. And so I don't have to be worried anymore about one spoiling the pot. Like, they're all amazing. Sometimes somebody has a bad day. And then because we lead with empathy, they know we always go, oh no, are you okay? Not you suck.
Right.
Yeah.
You're a terrible cleaner. Like, no, you're having a really bad day. Are you okay? And so we create the space where it's okay to have a bad day, because we all have bad days.
That's so important. I know, Vic, you and I talked about that on the last call, is like that sort of empathy and compassion, but not having it, but verbalizing it and showing it to your cleaners means more than anything that you could do them, besides giving them a lot of money. But but I mean, honestly, we hear that all the time. Like, thank you for actually like caring about me. Thank you for asking that. Thank you for appreciating me. People want to be treated well, and then they'll treat your people well.
That's it. And that positivity spreads, it's like a cold. It just spreads through the town. The more you shake hands and be nice to people, the more you're spreading this thing. It's just a good thing. Colette has a follow-up question, which was, then they join the other cleaner. How do you pay them? So how do you split the pay? We get this question actually a lot.
Yeah.
So when you're pairing either a new cleaner or a partner cleaner, how do you split the pay?
Great question. We are now at a point that it's equal pay. But all of our cleaners are reliable for their own transportation and their own supplies. Where some cleaning companies have a lead cleaner that picks up the other cleaner and provides the supplies. We don't do that. So that is a difference, right? So that initial cleaning, we compensate our established cleaner more. And usually, honestly, that's just like with a bonus or a set amount, like a set pay for that first time cleaner. Like, hey, we're going to give you $50 on this clean, or $30 on this clean, and we give the rest to the other cleaner. But usually it's with a bonus. But it's really only that one. Otherwise, our cleaners get paid the same. Because and then they're all equal.
They are equal. Yeah.
In our system. Now, that's not how a lot of cleaning systems, I mean, it sounds like yours is, Vic, but that's not how some cleaning companies are set up.
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy here at Cleaning Company Blueprint. Oh, hi, sweetie. Haven't seen you in ages. One of the, the things for Cleaning Company Blueprint, our philosophy is very much about transparency, honesty, and the difference when it comes to pay is, I don't know if I've really gone on a rant about this before on this channel, but I will. So old school is hide how much people get paid on Indeed, on your job ads. You make people, tell you what their expected salary is. And then the business decides how much they're going to pay based on that. And it's very gendered. So, if you look at any stats, women make less than men. That is still true in 2025. And I follow a person on LinkedIn. It's called Moms at Work, and they're like an advocacy group for women, mothers in particular, but for pay transparency. And they have been so effective that here in Canada, employers have to say the pay upfront on any job now. So they can no longer say, it depends on your experience and be vague about it. And the reason is, and they've done a ton of studies on this, men are kind of raised to know that they need to negotiate their pay and therefore make more. And women are raised to be like, oh, sure. Yeah, I'll take that. And so instead, this pay transparency thing is massive. It's happening globally. I'm so excited about it because you get paid X, and it's regardless of your race, your gender, your sexuality, your beliefs, whatever. This is what the pay is. And so at Cleaning Company Blueprint, we always say pay your cleaner 60% of the job, because you are genuinely only doing 40% of the job as the business owner. It's a profitable model. It's better for the cleaners. It's better for the clients. It's better for you. So that's kind of my soapbox rant there, but it really does work. And it is revolutionary when it comes to workplace, because you no longer have one person making more because of their gender, because of the color of their skin, because they say they're more experienced. You're all doing the same job.
Yep.
Yeah. And we do, I mean, which I'm pretty sure you do too, because you were how Isaac modeled a lot of stuff after, but we pay by the job, not by the hour, right? And we do the 60-40 model, just that you said. And I'm very upfront when you go back to the hiring process of that. We pay and we charge and we pay by the job, not by the hour. It typically equates to around $24 to $30 an hour, which in Columbus, Ohio is good for cleaning companies. If you're going to work with a cleaning company, that's good money. Sometimes our cleaners make $75 an hour, but we're not taking that from them. And I tell them that, right? It's yeah, you might make 24, unfortunately, because the house takes too long. But you know what? That next clean, you might make 75. And I'm not micromanaging that. And most people, if not all, are like, oh my gosh, that is way more than I was expecting, and knowing. But I do think personally, I do like to know what their ideal numbers are. Because to me, that helps everybody be happy when I assign jobs. Yeah. Because it's kind of so-and-so is she was good making $18 an hour. So-and-so wants to make $50 an hour. I mean, we have those. So I'm just listen, you work for a cleaning company. We find the jobs. You make $50 an hour, but 35 ain't bad.
No, exactly. And it averages out. And in the beginning, they're nervous. This is normal because they don't trust you yet, as they shouldn't. They've been screwed over a million times as cleaners, right? And so you have to, just like being a school teacher, the kids aren't just going to respect you day one just because you're a teacher. You got to earn that respect, especially in my background in inner city schools. You absolutely need to prove that you deserve their respect because you respect them equally.
Mhm.
Yeah. 100%.
So same thing with the cleaners. It's so great. Okay. So lots of questions. I love it. Thank you guys. Somebody asked if it's going to work in India. So my answer to that, this model will work in any country where there is a demand for cleaners. If it's not for cleaners, it could be for lawn care professionals. It could be for duct cleaning. It could be for window washing. Anything that has a local service where it's a human being that has to go somewhere and do this work. So this model will work there. What typically happens with India is that people in India will try to do this in the United States. And that, I would argue, is very difficult to do. Not impossible, but very difficult because Google is cracking down. They want you to genuinely be local when you're running a local service company. But I did a hot seat last month or the month before with Stefan, who's in South Africa, and he was able to do it from South Africa to the US. So you could watch that and then try to apply it in India. If you do want to try to do it in the US, there's just a lot of hurdles. But
I will say too, like as you mentioned at the beginning, I owned and ran a cleaning company in Chicago. And the reason that I sold that is because I did feel like Google was plateauing me. Like Google knew that I wasn't there. Maybe there's ways to like VPN better than what I was doing, but they knew it. They knew. I was literally getting calls from people in Columbus about my cleaning company in Chicago. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So that's where I really like, all right, I gotta sell and restart here.
Okay, so can we finish with that? Oh, actually, 2 questions, and then we should wrap it up. So the first one is selling your company. I know you would have signed NDAs saying you can't share some details, but are you able to share a little bit about the process of selling your first company?
Yeah, I actually don't. At least I don't remember selling or signing too much of an NDA. I sold it on Flippa.com, which is like a biz buy sell sort of deal. I was doing, I want to say it was around 5K, and sold it for. No, was it that much?
I think
it was 15.
Oh, really?
15.
Yeah, probably 3 times, which is pretty good.
3 times my monthly revenue.
Yeah, that's really good. And at that time, I remember you weren't answering the phone. You were forgetting to charge clients. Like this was a genuine side hustle.
Yeah, it was. And it was built like a side hustle, right? And when I sold that and really started focusing and honestly working with you is when I started rebuilding here in Columbus. And I will be a huge advocate for mentorship. Some of the mistakes that we avoided is specifically because we were willing to invest in mentorship, time, energy, and money into mentorship. So that's one of the reasons that Columbus really took off. But I guess the process of selling it, I don't know. I mean, I think I got pretty lucky. I found 2 brothers who were interested in kind of taking it over. They were really interested in service businesses. Obviously cleaning has a lot of attractive aspects to it, like Jenna alluded to earlier, with recurring revenue, with it's just, there's a lot of good aspects. It's a growing industry. So they found me on Flippa, and the rest is kind of history.
And so, okay, so I've got 2 fingers out here, so I won't forget. So Flippa is spelled Flippa for anybody out there looking for it. And there is an argument to be made for if somebody just wants to build one of these businesses and turn around and flip it, because you watch our 4-hour video and you do that work, and then you build a Convert Labs website and you have all the systems in place, and then do this as a side hustle, maybe for a month or 2 or 3, just to prove that it works, and then turn around and sell it. That's a 10K profit for you, right, Isaac? Like this, more or less.
And so actually after selling in Chicago, we did explore this a little bit. And we actually met with a couple once, I think. There was a friend from Jenna's past life that was kind of in the speaking mentorship. Life. Yeah. So when I say past life, I mean like past profession. That she wanted to start a cleaning business, and we're like, well, what if I just started it for you with the idea that I'll just hand it over after it gets to a certain point. I don't know. I've come off of that a little bit just because I've seen the compound growth in sticking with something and continuing through.
Yeah.
The amount of energy and effort it takes to get from 0 to 10K, I would argue is probably more than it takes to get from 10 to 25.
100%.
And probably more than it takes to get from 25 to 75.
It's just sticking with it.
You just keep doing it. Like there's no extra effort. It doesn't for the most part really get harder.
No, it gets easier.
Yeah. So
it gets way easier, especially if you do our 80-20 thing, if that's your focus. Like I've been on the call with you for over an hour. I had one text, like, we've got how many cleaners out today? 20 jobs today? Like,
yeah. And so I guess I'm not willing right now, I don't think, to put my energy into building a business with the idea of flipping it. I just don't think the value is there.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm curious. If anybody else does it, please let us know, because I'm super curious. Because in my experience, a lot of people want these, but they don't know how to build the website, or, and it's just stuff that it's like, dude, like you or any of us could do that so easily now that we've done it once. And then the last thing I wanted to finish on was what's next for you.
Good
question. Because I'm going to put you in the hot seat again in like 9 months, 12 months or something. And I know you're going to have some crazy number, some big thing's going to happen. You're not pregnant again. Right?
Well,
I mean, you could be, but
this is the question that we're asking each other, like big right now. We're actually tomorrow going to brunch to have this conversation and really like come up with some answers here. But we've kind of been spitballing. We've asked it a lot because our initial goal was to be at that 50K revenue a month. We're now at, like Isaac said, 63K this month with a couple of days to go. Only see that trajectory going up. And it's kind of like, okay, we don't want to grow just to grow. Like we said, we want to be able to now, because it's paying our bills. We're living good. It's like, we don't need more money for us to live the life that we want to live. Right. So, but we do want to grow because of the impact. So kind of things that we've kind of spitballed is, one, we're going to get connected with some people here that to give opportunity to some organizations specifically for women that have, whether it's anti-human trafficking, battered women, those sorts of things, getting connected. And we know, we've talked to somebody that knows a lot about this, and there's a lot of vulnerability in it. There's a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of things, but that is strictly from a tithing and a mission work. And like our heart is nothing to do with profit. It's simply to impact, like we said. The other side of things is we want to be more like focus more on aligned clients and not spread ourselves as thin. So really getting hyper focused on what we want our percentages of clientele to be monthly, what we want our numbers to be, like where we want those to come from, and breaking that down where we are and how we can get to where we want to be. And the third part of that is bringing somebody on, like we said. We really want to bring on an operations person with the upside of like, it's a high level person that has a job right now, but wants some extra money. We have a certain amount of tasks to give that person, but they have the capability to grow into a COO when we have, 6 figures plus to give them as a true salary. And to be honest with you, we're thinking that person is actually my sister. She's phenomenal. She's done a lot of things to grow different companies. Right. And so, yeah, we're really excited. Would you add anything to that? I mean,
no. Like that's
a great way to do it. And having it be your sister, because I was thinking through as a recruiter, like, how do you find that unicorn? But having it be your sister, you've that type of a person is going to understand, I can do this part-time now and then the more I do here, the more I'm, so they're more invested.
And she's been next to us. She works from home. She's been next to us when we're working. She lives down the street. Like she knows our cleaners just by conversation. She knows our, like, how we are doing things. So, God,
I would love it.
It just makes sense. We're kind of that like weird. I mean, we're husband and wife that work together. We're always together. It works. We love what we do. We're good partners because our skill sets. She is, yes, family. And I know that some people are scared of that, but she checks all the boxes of what we're looking for to grow, to hire one person that we trust, that's willing to take less money, but has the capability of being a true like boss COO.
I love that. She's in HR. She's in hiring. Like she's in recruiting. Like
not in HR.
it's human resources. Hiring is human resources.
Oh, yeah.
So, but she's been a recruiter. Like she understands and
perfect.
has skills that we just don't have experience in doing.
Because that is the thing. You're recruiting clients, you're recruiting cleaners, and you're pairing them together. This is not a cleaning company.
And she has a vision that we don't have from that standpoint, like Isaac said. I mean, she's in the LinkedIn world. She's in her brain just works differently than ours. So it's kind of like, okay, now she's bringing in a new skill set to then expand our company. Yeah.
I 100% understand that. And I think like I would do anything if one of my family members wanted to do this and was wanting to jump in. Like, you know, I love working with my sister. It's definitely different. You know, we can argue a lot, but we still know we love each other. I've worked for another family business, you know, that I loved and hated. Like there are positives and negatives to working with your family members, whether it's your partner or your siblings or your parents, whatever. But one of them, you know, if you have somebody that has a skill set that is different from your own, that is missing in your business, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it lets you focus more in on your strengths too. I think that's the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is being able to really hone in. Both Jen and I focus in on our strengths and not having to do tasks that don't necessarily fit our skill set, like that only magnify our impact and our revenue.
Yeah, you get to stay in your zone of genius.
Absolutely.
That was very mastermind of me. So on that note, I've got one announcement and then we'll wrap this up. We did an experiment a few months ago called the Accountability Club. And you know about our mastermind, our Millionaire Mastermind, which is for people that have reached 50K, which you should be in. But our Accountability Club was for people that kept asking us for coaching. Or, you know, wanted more from the community, like they wanted group calls or more Zoom calls. And we realized it's not actually that they want more coaching. It's that what they need is people like this getting together, talking through what's working for them and what's not working for them. So Jen and I did a 3-month program. So it's 12 weeks. It's basically a sprint. And we meet once a week on Zoom with like 10 people. And then we put them into breakout rooms where they talk about, you know, whatever issue one of them is having, and they work it through together, and then we come back in. And it was amazing. And we have a private group in the community, and they're still like every week checking in on each other, what's working, what's not working. Oh man, did you guys have this hurdle yet? So it's been a really powerful experience. So we're launching another one October 4th. And so I wanted to mention that on here in case anybody is like, I want more. Apply. It is an application process because we need to make sure that we're all aligned and that, you know, you're as invested in your company as we are in putting our energy and time into you. And I wanted to mention one last thing, which is that both of you have brought up about investing in your business and taking risks. So many people have heard Rohan say this before, where he'll say, how much did you spend on that? You know, how much did you spend on your university education? Or how much did you spend on college? But you won't put any money in your business?
Right.
Really? You know, $500 is too much because you won't commit to your business, like whether it's getting leads or getting, you know, whatever. Anyway, I love that line because I was like, yes.
Yeah, and it goes back to, I think you mentioned the scarcity mindset of, you know,
yeah.
But if you're open to what that $500 investment could lead to, like you're talking about literally a couple of jobs. Like you could make $500 on a couple of cleaning jobs.
Yeah, 2 jobs, if not 1 job.
You're going to make what you're willing to put in. And it's so true. Like if you're not willing to put in that money and then like, don't expect to make a lot. And that was we had to get our brains around that too. But it's so worth it. And it's so true. If you said it, Vic, if you stay at it, it's going to come back around.
It comes back around. It changes your life in so many more ways than you could ever imagine. That's what I love about doing these hot seat calls is we get to dive in a little deeper. Like it's not, you know, as you guys said, it's not just money. It's the impact that we get to have. And that impact is just so, like, who would have known starting a cleaning company from a Twitter thread from this guy, Rohan, you know, it's just like, I hope Rohan, I don't even know if he probably doesn't watch these calls because he's so busy doing what he's doing, but you know, it's pretty cool.
It is. It's wild. And it makes for a hell of a story too.
Exactly.
Anytime anybody asks about the cleaning business.
I remember that in our last hot seat call, you guys talked about that. You know, you talked to all these women that are running these amazing businesses, $1 million, and all they want to do is like, wait, How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mention on this call, but I'm in a mastermind with 7 to 9 figure female entrepreneurs that are also moms of kids under 12 all over the world, not the country, like the world. And these people are like some of the most famous people you will see. And they're all like, wait, Jenna, what's going on with your cleaning company?
Should I start one of those?
Like, and who would have thought? Like, I didn't think I was going to be sitting at that table talking about my cleaning company. That's for sure. That's not why I got into the mastermind.
Okay, perfect. Let's end it at that. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate you. If you appreciate this, please share the love. Share this with a friend. Maybe you've got somebody in your life that's like, wait, what? That unsexy business in the Adidas shirt? Like, that's what I want. I don't want the Manola Blahniks and the Porsche. I just want to be able to wear my sweats and do a good job and have an impact on my community. All the links are below as well. And I really appreciate Jenna and Isaac. If anybody else has any more questions, I'm sure these guys will jump in the chat at some point. So please do leave them below. We do check them and we do answer them. Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.